Nearly 12 months ago, I created my own cryptocurrency project. Here's the why, the how, where we're at today, and where we're headed for the future. First, let's address the elephant in the room, my hotel room. I'm currently traveling for some training, but I still want to get some videos out, so forgive me for that. Like a lot of people, I got into crypto to become a crypto millionaire, and unfortunately, it quite hasn't happened yet. And I did a lot of investments, and as I've learned a lot about crypto, I got excited and interested into one specific blockchain called BSC, or the Binance Smart Chain. I don't know why that blockchain was so interesting to me, but it was. It had a lot of different um, tokens that had different taxes and did different things like rebasing, and overall, I just thought it was exciting. But there was a problem. And the problem was, so many of these token projects were actual scams. You'd put your money in, 2 days later to find out that the developer did a rug pull and took all the liquidity that was put in. So I decided to develop my own project. And that's how my project, Shiba Rewards, was created. The goal was to protect investors from bad developers. Now, I don't like to think I'm a bad developer because I've got my face out there and my name out there, but I wanted to build as much trust as possible. Trust in crypto is very hard to get. So the goals were everything I could possibly do to protect an investor, and we'll go over those. Quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Crypto is highly risky. Remember to always do your own research before you do any investments. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. So what are some of the things I did to protect investors? The first thing, 80% of liquidity raised went actually into the liquidity pool. Typically that number is around 60%. Now, looking back, I probably would have changed it to about 70% and kept 30% for me so I could do marketing. When you launch a new project, you have to constantly market. Otherwise, the price is going to drop and there's nobody having interest anymore, and they're just going to start selling off and it's going to be a terrible run. So I would have kept a little bit more. But putting 80% into the liquidity pool, that's just unheard of in today's market. The next thing is team tokens. So team tokens were broken down in 25% of what we got over a 1 year period. So I still haven't got the last bit of tokens, which comes next month in April. And how long did I lock liquidity for? That's a big deal. Most of them will lock 30 days to say 365 days. I decided to do 5 years. And some people question that. Why would you lock it for 5 years? Because the goal was I wasn't trying to walk off with the money in a year or 2 years. I'm here for the long haul, and I'm really here to see this project all the way through to wherever it goes. Because once it's on the blockchain, it's there forever. And here's how we set up our smart contract. Again, once it's in the blockchain, it's pretty much there forever. So we try to do these things again to protect the investor. And the first one is we had an anti-whale max transaction limit set at 1%, meaning you couldn't buy or sell more than 1% of tokens in total circulation. Myself, as the project owner, could not lower the max transaction limit below 1%. So what does that do? Well, that prevents me from putting it at zero and effectively stopping or pausing all trading. So you still get to trade up to 1% of all tokens. So I'm trying to protect you from myself. Now, I cannot mint or burn tokens. Now, the contract itself does burn tokens, but I, as the project owner, can't make new tokens and basically dilute the value of the tokens. I can also not pause the contract. I cannot raise any sell tax above 10%. That's cumulative, meaning all of the sell taxes have to be 10% or less. There is no buy tax at all. The buy tax is zero. On the BSC side of things, you don't typically see that, but I wanted you to get into the project at low risk, meaning zero buy tax. Sell tax, again, 10%, still on the low side. Again, I mentioned liquidity is locked for 5 years. Our contract did pass audits. It had no critical high, mediums, or low issues at the time. And finally, I completed 2 KYCs, or Know Your Customer, meaning they vetted who I was with IDs and proof and all other sorts of verifications, so I got that badge. These were all things I was trying to do to protect the investor as much as possible in a BSC contract. So how did I get here and get the project developed? Well, I went on Fiverr and started researching for different smart contract developers that focused and functioned mostly on BSC. Now, the good thing is with BSC, it runs very similar to ETH contracts, so if they did one, they could probably do another. Once I went through some reviews, I looked at a lot of projects that they did and looked at their portfolios, I decided to select one and we went from there. We worked back and forth, kind of tweaking what my requirements were. He actually gave me some suggestions, and I took those and we kind of ran with it. Once we got the contract done and ready to test, we put it on the test net and began our testing. After running on the testnet and making some more tweaks, we went ahead and launched it onto mainnet. And once it was on mainnet, I had to do some more testing just to make sure things were running good. And I did a couple tweaks here and there, and then I relaunched it yet again. So there's actually a Shiba Rewards test somewhere, but no real money in it. It was mainly just to test transactions back and forth. So once you have your project on the mainnet and it's ready to go, you have to announce it to the world. And how do you do that? Well, via Launchpad service. I use PinkSale. Now, PinkSale is easily the largest promoter of BSC tokens, and they're actually starting to dabble with some other blockchains. So there's a lot of different projects that you can get into, but they are by far the largest. So you get it loaded on there, and you have to really understand your tokenomics. Now, to do that, they provide you an Excel spreadsheet, but it can be a little confusing. So that's one more thing I went to Fiverr for and had somebody at Fiverr help me understand the tokenomics and where exactly I wanted to be when I launched. I also went to Fiverr for the web page. Now, the web page you see today, well, that's actually my doing. So if it looks not so great, well, that's probably because me. I'm not a crypto project web page developer. But there's plenty of those on Fiverr. And I found one that I liked initially, and went through all their portfolios and went ahead and hired them. And that's how I got the crypto website developed. And you also want to have your contract audited. That's a big deal, that there's no weirdness in your contract, there's no glaring errors, you don't have taxes at 25% or where you can pause trading, stuff like that. They trust in these audits, so you're going to want to use a trusted audit, particularly from PinkSale, so you can get the audit badge on your listing. So once you have all that up there on PinkSale and you've gone live with your sale, well, now you have to get traffic to you. And how do you do that? And you do AMAs, or Ask Me Anythings. The thing with these is they're very good at bringing traffic and potential investors to your project. The problem is they require a lot of money. Some of them require up to $7,000 to do a 1 hour AMA. Some of them are not that much. They've gone down in pricing, but these are very expensive. I probably spent, I don't know, $7,000, $8,000 on all my marketing before the project actually launched. So there's a lot of money involved in how all this stuff works. And once your sale ends, hopefully you're successful. In our case, we raised 250 BNB, and at that time was roughly $100,000. Pink Sale makes the next part pretty easy, that you can go in there, click a button, and it basically launches the project. It takes all the liquidity and it sends it into the swap. We use Pancake Swap. And then the rest of it, the 20% that came to me, well, it puts that in my wallet. It then allows people that invested to go pick up their tokens. They can claim them, and your project starts going, and it's now live. And the next part, well, that's where that 20% comes in. And you're going to have to keep people interested so they keep investing in your token project. So you get listed on CoinMarketCap, CNC, or you get listed on CoinGecko, CG. You need to be listed on those to be reputable. We're listed on CoinMarketCap. Unfortunately, we're not on CG yet. One day. You also have to hire people to work in your Telegram groups or on your Discord channels. Spammers and people committing fraud, criminals, and bots, well, they're going to just inundate your chat rooms. And if you're not careful, they're going to overrun them, and all your investors are going to think you have some just fake project, and they're going to sell off and they're going to leave. It happens. It is probably the worst thing. In fact, just 4 or 5 spam messages and they get fanatical about it. I mean, you really have to stay on top of it. So I had to hire moderators, and I had multiple working in the chat room 24 hours a day to monitor things. So there's a lot of money going out and really not a lot of money coming in, at least not yet. And overall, in a nutshell, that's a project. You really want to keep having people interested in what you're doing, either whether you have NFTs or a game or different places your token can be used. You have to figure out how to make your token more than what we did, is a meme token. And I'll explain kind of why we did what we did. So where are we at right now? Well, we still have a zero buy tax. In fact, we have no buy tax, so that can never be changed. On the sell tax, it's 10%, but it has changed some from our initial launch. Right now, whenever somebody sells, that 10% tax is divvied up with 3% going to Shiba Inu Rewards. So Shiba Inu, the massively big token in the top 10 of all token projects, well, you'll get 3% of that transaction from whenever somebody sells. That's divided up amongst all token holders, and the more tokens you have, the more you're going to get of that specific percentage. Now we have 1% to liquidity, so 1% of that transaction is going to be taken, and that the money generated from that will be sent back into liquidity. We're going to burn 1% of the tokens, and then finally 5% comes to us for marketing, and that goes to marketing the project, running the website, or paying for Telegram upgrades, or hiring our moderators. So that's really where we're at right now with the tokenomics of that. But how's the token project doing itself as far as the actual money and transactions? And this is really the meat and potatoes of what people want to know. And we have $71,000 in total liquidity with about $49,000 as our market cap. So we actually have more money in liquidity than if you had all of our tokens out there. So that's interesting how that works, but it's because we have them locked for 5 years. We've had over 11,000 transactions in just under a year. We have about 1,200 actual token holders. So we're still doing successfully as far as the project's still running. We've not lost all the liquidity. We've not lost all our token holders. But what's up for us next? Where are we headed from here? And that's really what you need to be kind of focusing on as a token project owner. What's next? So the big question for any real project is, where are you going from here? And I've got a surprise I'll tell you at the end. But for now, we're going to focus on our socials and pushing our NFT project called Shrew's Toxic Hillbilly Cousins. Now, Shrew is our mascot, Shiba Rewards. You can see how we took that and made Shrew. And well, his hillbilly cousins have been exposed to some toxic waste in their southern U.S. backyard that they live in, and now they've been created into NFTs. And by holding certain NFTs, you might get a reward monthly, as we're starting to still send those projects out, those rewards out to the NFT holders. But that is one of those things. And as we raise money in that project, it allows us to focus more on Shiba Rewards. One of the things we still want to do is develop a game. And that might have to wait till we launch the second project, but we will be launching a game with the Shrew as the character and Shiba Rewards as the main project owner of that actual video game. And it looks to be a racing game. We have a lot of the components already pre-built as far as a script and kind of where we're going for that. And another thing we're working on is our crypto gear store. Now we have to start refocusing on that. It's been a little while since we've really put a lot of effort into it, but we're jumping back into that on our socials and really going to start marketing that. But essentially it's crypto gear like t-shirts or sweatshirts or mouse pads or whatever it might be from various crypto projects or slogans or sayings, just to say, hey, I'm really into crypto. But you can buy that type of gear with different crypto. And one of those cryptos, the main one, is Shiba Rewards. When we launch our second project, you'll also be able to use that to buy on there as well. So what's the big secret or the big surprise? Well, that's our second project. And that one will really feed into Shiba Rewards, and I'll explain. Now, it'll be a rebasing token, but only for a limited time. Now, a lot of rebasing projects have struggled. And the reason why they've struggled is because they didn't have a mechanism to fund the liquidity for all those free tokens they're giving out for rebasing. Essentially what a rebase token is, a rebase token project, you have, say, 100 tokens. And every 15 minutes, based on the amount of tokens you have, based on the APY, they're going to go ahead and give you some more tokens. So essentially you're getting free money. The problem with them minting new tokens, they're not minting liquidity. You have to have a solution on how you get liquidity into the project for the tokens you mint. And most of those don't do that. They also give you these really crazy APYs, like a 3,000,000% APY or 150,000% APY or 352,000% APY. We're not planning on doing that. One, we have a limited time frame. It'll only be for 6 months. Two, it'll also go from 1% to another percent, meaning we're going to change it every month for 6 months. So the longer you stay, the higher the APY, but only for that month. And again, it's only for 6 months. But we still have to do the same thing that they haven't done, in my opinion, and that's fund the liquidity project. And how do we do that? Well, we do that with our NFT project. The NFTs won't be like Shrew's Toxic Hillbilly Cousins. Those NFTs will be very, very different. They're going to be designed to actually just function by putting funds into the liquidity pool in a special wallet we have to handle any issues that might arise. But I'm telling you, when I say I've worked out a lot of the math problems here, there's been a lot of math. It's taken me probably 3 months just to write out how all the mechanics and math works behind the scenes. Once that project loads, one of the special things it'll have is it'll give a rewards token. And guess what rewards token we're going to do? Well, we're going to give Shiba Rewards. So once this launches, it'll start pushing money, more money, into Shiba Rewards and more token holders. In fact, it'll double, triple, or quadruple the amount of token holders that Shiba Rewards has. The other thing the reason we want to use Shiba Rewards, well, it has a zero buy tax. So when people buy into this project and we go buy another token, we're buying one with zero tax, so they're not losing anything from that. And overall, it'll be a win-win. Now, I hope to release more details about this maybe sometime in May. I keep pushing the project back because as we see with the Silicon Valley Bank and just other things going on, it's really affecting the crypto market. It's been a tough time in crypto, and right now launching a new project that you want to be a real successful project, it's just not a good time. One of the things we want to do when we launch that project, because it won't be a meme token, it'll be a real token project, is also launch a wallet with it. And there's some other things as we build up and we gain money from our side as the developers that we want to expand. We want that token to have long-term legs. I mentioned once that the taxes will be changing often. So as of 6 months, we'll be stopping rebasing, the taxes will go down. After 1 year, the taxes will drop yet again at 5 years and then at 10 years. And at 10 years, the taxes will be the lowest they'll ever be. And that's when we're going to renounce ownership. We'll also be doing STEM scholarships. So science and technology, we'll be giving scholarships out to those in the US based on money, a percentage of coins that are raised or tokens that are raised that'll be converted, but that'll be through that project as well. There's a lot going on with that secondary project, but because I think it has so much potential, it's really going to push Shiba Rewards. And it's going to make this new project a 2 rewards token. Why? Well, you've got token, the new project, that's going to give you Shiba Rewards, and Shiba Rewards gives you SHIB or Shiba Inu. So you're going to get a double rewards token and have some NFTs built in that are helping fund the liquidity, but also has a mechanism to pay the NFT holders off. There's going to be like 5 levels of NFTs: silver, gold, uh, what do we have? Diamond and platinum, or platinum and then diamond, something like that. And those will be different costs and different mechanisms. But our intent is to have you paid off when you buy in within about 9 months. And then after that, it's profit for you, and it's pure profit. And those NFTs will run for 5 years. So you have 5 years after the project launches before it's done, and you're not collecting money. But we're also looking at some other things. Instead of investing into centralized exchanges, which are horrible for BSC or Binance Smart Chain tokens to get into, we're going to get into different DEXs. And we have a number of them that we want to get into and really push our token. We have a lot of things planned for this one, and thankfully, Shiba Rewards really kind of helped prepare me and plan me for what's next, what this next evolution of crypto looks like for my involvement. Well, there you have it. That's Shiba Rewards, the how, the why, and the where we're going for that. And I'd love to have you if you want to invest in that. Remember, it's very risky and this is not financial advice, but I'll put the links to that project in the description below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Put those in the comments. I'd love to do a video series on some of your comments or just respond to them in the comment section. Also, as I launch that second project, I'm sure I'll come here to talk a lot more about it and tell you why I think it's different than a lot of other projects out there. Predominantly, I think it has to do with me, that I'm not trying to line my pockets with your money. I'm trying to get rich with you, not from you. And I think a lot of other developers, well, they're just not like that. So thanks. I hope you like and subscribe, and I look forward to doing more videos just like this.